Stephanie Stuckey. She's the Chief Resilience Officer for the City of Atlanta.
Also a member of the Advisory Council for EarthShare, Georgia. Stephanie, you chuckled when she said scientists don't usually basically take off their lab coats and get out and march. Why do you think this is such a moment for them?
I think it's great to see not the usual suspects getting engaged in activism. And so this is a great opportunity to get more people as part of the movement and taking real action and tackling the issues that we're facing with climate change.
Okay, so when we look at the Trump administration and some of the decisions that have been made, some of the budget cuts that have been announced, what do you see as the threat to the environment, to science, if there's a singular message that you're getting from the administration?
Well, I really think that cities are where the action is. And that's been the focus even before President Trump got elected. You're seeing more and more that cities are facing the brunt of the impacts of climate change. We're dealing with drought and flooding. We're dealing with food shortages. And cities very much can take concrete action to tackle what's happening with climate change. You saw that at the Paris climate talks. We had over 100 cities making very specific commitments to reduce their carbon footprint and reduce their greenhouse gas emissions by making buildings more energy efficient, by having urban agriculture, by having more electric vehicles in their fleet. So that's really what we're focused on with City of Atlanta, and you're seeing that in cities globally with whom I interact on a daily basis. And so we're just about solutions.
Because the president's rolling back some policies, some environmental policies, if you could sit down with him, what would you want him to know? What would you want to say to him?
I want to focus on solutions and where there's common ground. And President Trump has said consistently, campaigning and now as president, that he supports infrastructure investment. He supports business-based solutions. And if you look at a lot of what we're doing at the city level, it's consistent with his messaging. We want to have more energy efficient buildings. That's good for business. We want to save water. That's good for business. That makes sense on all levels. And so we're really working on where we can find that common ground so we can move forward.
It's important to point out, and you touched on it there, that the infrastructure conversation is not divorced from the environment conversation. If you could flesh that out just a bit.
That's right. So there's a lot of ways that you can build cities, design cities, because cities have already become 50% of the world's population is clustered in urban cores. And we're having more and more people flock to cities. So we have to realize, how are we going to plan and design our infrastructure to accommodate that growth? So there's a lot you can do, such as green infrastructure. We're seeing that in Atlanta and cities throughout the world. Amsterdam, Rotterdam are real leaders on this. So instead of building more sewer lines, we're building bioswales. We're building retention ponds that are good for the environment. They control flooding, and they make cost-effective sense as well for cities. So that's just one example.
Real quickly, people are not sold on, not all people are sold on this. Science is supposed to be definitive. Why do you think it's so hard to get through to people who are skeptics that human activity is causing climate change?
It's troubling to think that our world is warming, and I think sometimes people feel powerless in the face of that, and so they don't want to accept that. And it's really an overwhelming concept. You know, the world is rapidly changing, and how do we deal with that? So I respect people who have some skepticism, but at the same time, the science is pretty clear. Every single year recently has been the warmest year on record. Atlanta is no exception. We've had 2016 was our hottest year on record. So I'm just looking at facts. To me, it's not a belief. It's look at the cold, hard facts that we are in a warming environment, and let's figure out how we can move forward, especially at the city level, to address those issues.
All right.
Stephanie, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks
We
so much.
appreciate it.